Hi, I'm Frank Dierdorf, that one web guy, and I'm back with another video. In this video training, we're going to cover how to do a manual install of WordPress. Now, in most cases, you'll probably want to do the automated versions, but just in case for some reason or another you need to do the manual version or manual install, you'll have this video. So what we need to do first, of course, is the first step that you want to do is go and download the WordPress install file. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to wordpress.org. and you'll see that the current version right now is 3.7.1. So we're going to go ahead and download that, and you want to make note of where it downloads to, and it's going to tell you some instructions when you click that link. It actually takes you to a download page before it actually downloads, and it tells you that this is the most stable version, blah blah blah, and that kind of thing. So we're going to go ahead and download, and you can see it's downloading here. Now in my case, it's set up to download in a downloads folder, and I can verify that once it's finished downloading, which it looks to be about done there. I'm using Google Chrome, so I can actually click here and show in folder. Now if you were using Firefox, there would be an arrow up here in this area to access your download as well. So you can see that we have it here, and you can see that it's in my downloads folder here. So I know that that's where it's at. So I'm just going to minimize that for now. The next thing we'll need to know is we'll need to know our FTP information. Now you should have gotten that from your hosting provider. You'll also need to be able to log into your control panel to set up a MySQL database. That looks like MySQL. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and unzip or decompress this file before we can upload it. That's generally the best route if you're going to do this manually. So I'm going to go ahead and open up this folder again, and I'm going to click here, and I'm in Windows 8. Windows 7 is very similar, and I'm sure you're probably using one of those versions or something very similar. Now in most of your applications, whether you're using Mac or PC, you can easily unzip and zip with the default settings. In Apple, you can double click and it'll automatically uncompress. In Windows, you'll have to click the icon and click extract, and it's going to ask you where you want to extract it to. So I'm going to click extract all, and it's asking if I want to put it in C users Frank downloads WordPress 3.7.1. Now we want to make note of that so we know where the files are to upload. And if you need to, go ahead and write that down as you're unzipping it on yours. So I'm just going to go extract, and it's going to go ahead and take a few minutes. Now the next thing we'll need to know, as I said, we needed that login information. So we're going to go ahead and create a WordPress database that we're going to need. To do that, we need to log into our cPanel account. In this case, I'm going to use a site called Installing WP. And for me to get to my my cPanel information, I have to put in :2082. Now it depends on your hosting. Maybe it says /cPanel or something of that sort to get to that file. This is just the way that I like to get there. So I'm going to click that, and I need to put in my username. In most cases, it is the first 8 characters of the domain name, unless you've set it up differently. And then I need to put in my password. And I'm going to log in. Now this isn't really as scary as it may seem. It's just a little more time consuming this way, and then sometimes you just have to do it this way. This comes in handy also for other purposes, which we'll cover in later videos. So what we need to do, since we've logged in, is we'll scroll down to the database section, and you see here that we're in the databases, and I just need to go into MySQL databases, and I'm going to create a database. So I just need to give it a name, and I'm going to say WP demo. I'm going to create the database and go back, and then I need to create a user account for that database. So I'm going to put in WP user for WP user, and I need to put in a password. Now, of course, for the case of this video, you're going to see the video, so I'm not going to put anything really crazy that I have to try to remember. Or we could use a password generator in some cases. So we could do that as well. I think I might have a notepad open here somewhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, just so we have a secure password in case I forget to delete it, we can go use the password generator, and I'm just going to copy this into my notepad that I have here on another screen. I'm going to click I have copied this password in a safe place, use this password, and you see that it automatically filled this in, and it's a very strong password. Obviously that's one that would be very hard to crack for somebody that's trying to hack into my database. So I'm going to go ahead and click create user. Now on the next screen it'll tell you it added this user with the password of this. So you can actually save that if you want. I'm not going to worry about it because I can remember most of that, and I've copied the other part. So the next step, this is pretty much just 3 steps on the database part. You see that we have the install WPW demo. It has no user associated to it. So what we have to do next is associate the user. So I'm going to scroll down here and I'm going to add a user to the database, this section right here, as you can see. So I'm going to select the user that I want and the database that I want. In this case it's already selected. If not, you can just click the drop down and select the one that you want. And I'm going to click add, and I'm going to give it all privileges. I'm going to make changes and go back. So we've set that up now. So the next part we need to do is then to change the WP config file to have that information. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go back to our extracted folder. It said where it's extracted, and I need to edit or copy. So we have a WP config sample. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy, because I like to leave the sample there just for sanity purposes in case I need to go back for some reason or another. So I now have a copy. So what I did was I copied it and then I pasted it back in here, and it says copy. But to make this alive, we actually have to remove the sample part and of course the copy part. So we're just going to rename it. Now what I did there to rename it was I just clicked once and then I clicked again and it highlighted it like that. In some cases you can right click and just click rename and it'll give you the same results. So I'm also now going to right click and I'm going to edit. And in some cases it's going to open up in Notepad, which is totally fine. Let me shrink this down so it fits on the screen here. So what we're looking for is this information here. I know this looks a little scary, but bear with me, it's really not that difficult. So what we're going to do is we need to put the username that we created and the password that we created. And generally you can leave the local host here fine. We also need to put the database. So we're looking actually at these 3 fields right through here. And of course you would put you would need to modify it in the right spots there. So what we're going to do, if we recall properly, our database name was and then the database name here was WP demo. Our username was and it always puts the prefix of your site name there in most cases. Some hostings could be a little bit different, and we called it WP user. And then our password, and I'm just going to highlight this over on my other screen, copy it, and I'm just going to paste it in here, and there we go. Now I'll need to come up here and file and save, or you can hit Control S save or Command save if you're on a Mac. So, and then I can close this. And now we need to go into our FTP program. Yes, another program here, but it's really not that difficult. Now I'm using FileZilla for this case, and FileZilla is a free application that you can download from. If you just go to Google and type in FileZilla, you just go here real quick and just type in, oops, spell it right here, FileZilla. And it'll give you this option to download it here, so you can download it and install it. Just go through the defaults, and I'll have a different video just on FTP so we can learn a little bit about that. I won't go into that now because I want to focus on just installing WordPress, and we don't need to worry about all the ins and outs of FTP for this case. So I'm just going to go ahead and minimize that. And you can see right here we need to add our host name, which is actually just the domain name, just another word for that. So I put in installingwp.com. I put in my username, again, which is the same information that we used to log into the cPanel. And I added my password. And then I can click Quick Connect. I'm going to abort the previous connection and go ahead and open this one here. So I want to, on this side is our server. The right side here is what's actually on the server. And I want to go to public HTML here. And I'm going to put this in a demo folder. So I'm going to need to create an account or a folder on this to put it in. So I'm going to go to create a new directory, and I'm just going to say demo. And you can see we now have a demo folder. I'm going to open up that folder. And on this side, I want to open up our location that our files were downloaded. So I'm going to put in C:users, and of course you can locate it. There is a tree mode on the other side here that I could actually go this way. By default this is on. I usually just turn it off to save screen real estate. So I can go to C:users, click on Frank, and we have downloads down here. I can open up downloads, and we have our WordPress 3.7.1, and I want to open it up one more time. We'll go ahead and close this tree again, and I want to take all of this information and upload it to the right hand side. So all we have to do is we can select all this easily by selecting Control A on your keyboard, and I do believe that's Command A on a Mac, and we can just drag this right over here, and it's going to start uploading all those files. So you can see that that'll take a few moments here. So I'm going to pause the screen just a moment, and I'll be right back after this uploads. Okay, it looks like our files have uploaded. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to run the install program. So we'll just go ahead and minimize this for now, and we're going to go back to our browser window, and I'm going to go to our website here, and I'm just going to go to installingwp.com, and we put that in a demo folder, and I need to go to wp-admin, and we'll need to go to install.php. So it comes up with this screen here. My password manager pops up there, so disregard that. It says the information we need. We need to give it a site title, manual WordPress install. We need to give it a username. Let me make sure I spell install correctly there. We'll give it a username, and in this username you want to make sure that you do not use the word admin. A lot of people will do that, because it's the admin login or whatever, and I hardly disregard it against doing that, because that's the first thing that people will use to try to hack your site if they're going to. So a lot of times I will just use my first name here, if I can spell it correctly, and then we need to put in a password twice. Again, this will be shown on my screen here, so I'm not going to use anything too critical. So I'm just going to use Frank 1 2 3 4 5 6. And of course, as I said, that's pretty weak, which it's going to be. I need to put in my email address, and I generally put in my support email address. That goes to my support desk in case I forget my password that I put in here. If I didn't copy it down or something like that, I can do a password reset, and it would send the information to my support desk, and that just helps me. I have this option to allow search engines to index the site. Normally you want this on, but since it's a demo site, I don't really care I don't really want it to index it. So I'm going to uncheck this here, and I'm going to click Install WordPress. And we should go, as it says, success, and then we can log in. And so I'm going to go ahead and close that there. Put in my username, Frank, and the password that I put in. Log in. Okay, I probably did a capital letter there. Log in. There we go. And we've installed WordPress manually. That's all there is to it. We can actually test the install by clicking here. I like to hit the Control key on my keyboard so it opens up in a new tab. And I can see here that we've got the base install, the WordPress, the newest version of the WordPress theme, so that you can see that we have a manual WordPress install and we have everything set up like we need to. So you can check back in other videos to see how we go ahead and modify the video, how we turn on different settings and things like that, and even actually making our post and page settings. So thank you for watching this video, and I'll be back again with another video here soon. Thanks.